Hello everybody and welcome to this video. It's my absolute pleasure right now. My name's Dave Thompson and with me is the main man, the man with all the leadership answers, Arpan Roy. And today we're going to sit down and we're going to have a chat about how Arpan has put together his book and launched it to bestseller and achieved great success in his business. So Arpan, thank you so much for joining me and thank you for sharing all your insights that I know are about to follow.
Thank you so much, Dave, for having me over. It's a pleasure to be here on the show, and thank you for the opportunity to speak about this.
Awesome. So, man, your book, A Servant's Heart: Leadership That Inspires, a #1 Amazon bestseller in 4 leadership categories, and most recently, your book is in the Victorian State Library, an amazing achievement. My man,
Thank you.
Tell me, I want to get a sense of because a lot of people watching this, they'll be thinking about writing their book, yeah, and maybe,
of course, yes,
maybe they'll be where you were before you wrote your book, A Servant's Heart. So, just give us a snapshot before you wrote the book. Where were you in your business, and what was business like?
Sure. So, when this thought occurred to me about writing the book on A Servant's Heart, the business was primarily about mostly referral based, and it was on my mind to look at different avenues to expand the way I can grow the business. So just not rely on referrals, but also look at how I can expand further, be it through online, be it through more effective marketing, and so on and so forth. And that's something which I was kind of struggling to achieve because it was working sometimes, not working most times. And it was a struggle in the sense there was nothing tangible that I could showcase of what my business or what my message actually stands for.
Because your business is about providing leadership and consulting services to businesses, right?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. And so while they were happy to talk to me about what my services meant and how it can help, I think at some point of time, the credibility factor started coming in, where there was more like, okay, you've had your business for about what would be 2 years plus now. Why should we listen to you? What is it that you bring to the table that others cannot or do not, when especially there were so many other people who have been in the space, who are absolutely rocking it. So what is it that you can, provide that they can't? And it automatically became a question of, okay, how am I known in this world? What's my credibility? And what is the value add that people can actually absolutely connect with? And at that point of time, when I actually made the decision to reach out to you, I was just coming off a personal situation, like my house caught on fire.
Wow.
And
yeah, I remember you saying
there was
crazy.
There was all sorts of things. In fact, I remember when we had the chat about me possibly coming on the retreat, I was actually not in my house. I was living in a temporary accommodation. And the 2 months that I was not living in my house, all my energy, all my attention was on how I can coordinate with the insurance and get everything back on track. And so pretty much 2 months I was not working on the business. So imagine just by myself, because my wife Manasi was on maternity leave and I wouldn't expected her to, work on something while she's taking care of her little baby. So it was pretty much by myself, whether I coordinate things around the fire or focus on the business, whilst dealing with the complexity of how can I expand my message in a very effective way.
Wow.
And that's when I came to you, thinking like, this is the concept I have in mind. And can we do this? Shall we do this? And love the way how you supported me at that point of time. I remember you acknowledging how relevant that message is, how it can create a positive difference in the world of leadership or any scenario, any context. And that did give me a lot of confidence that yes, this is something that I would love to take on. And that could actually mean a lot to my credibility as well, because that's something which I could then talk about, that yes, this is what my business stands for, this is my core message. It's in a book, you should read it.
Yeah, and even more than that, it's a #1 Amazon bestseller.
It is, and definitely.
Yeah, wow. So just to summarize that for the people watching this, so what I'm hearing is that before you wrote your book, you're in a place where your business was relying basically on referrals, and that
Correct.
any outreaching growth was kind of it wasn't smooth and flowy. It was kind of like
It wasn't.
you were getting messages back going, "Hey, where's your credibility? Who are you? What are you doing? Why should we work with you over someone
Correct.
else?"
Correct.
And then
Correct.
on top of that, your house was on fire and you had
How
to
was
live
on fire?
somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. That too. The small matter of living somewhere else.
Wow. Okay. So what was it? I guess when you came into when you came and joined us and you started to write your book, what were some of the, I guess, because there's lots of different lots of frameworks that we used, that we led you through to get you to your result of the book and
Yeah.
launching it and all of that. Can you just maybe highlight a couple of those points that you found were like really valuable to you?
Absolutely. There's even before we walked into the retreat, there was the what do you call that? The unpack session or
Yeah, the book map.
the book map session
Yeah.
that you and I had. I think that was really solid because it gave me so much clarity in terms of where my preparation is at, what my book could potentially look like. So the book map session was a really good eye opener because it automatically started, gearing my mind into, okay, this is the book I'm going to write. This is how I think it's going to look like, and that just helped me with the clarity of what's to come. And then with the retreat, what I liked the most about was the the activity we did to check in our progress for the day, set the intention, see how we're going, and at the end report how we went and what needs to be done for the day ahead. So it helped us, me personally, it helped me work towards a plan. Okay, this is what my intention is, and this is what I can achieve, and knowing fully well that help was always at hand, because you guys have been awesome. You guys were like Ben as well as Matt. He was amazing. Runwile was just amazing with their inputs and their help. So that was so smooth, and as you keep saying, with grace and ease. It was
Yeah.
indeed with grace and ease.
Because that's the way book writing should be, I believe.
It just flows. Yeah, absolutely.
It just flows.
Absolutely.
And I think, you've touched on something awesome there, is when you do chunk when you do chunk the task of writing a book into small pieces, it
Yeah.
becomes, I remember saying, someone asked me, how do you write a book? And I said, well, it's like eating an elephant. You eat the elephant one bite at a time, and then
Yeah.
and then I said that to a vegan once, and they weren't very happy. They were like,
They
Dave,
would be happy.
they were like, animals are our friends. And my response was, well, if I said it's like eating a block of tofu,
Yeah.
it doesn't quite have the same ring. But
Eating a watermelon, maybe.
eating a watermelon one bite at a time. So awesome. So the thing that really worked for you is the 90 minutes, because on the retreat we check in with you every 90 minutes for
Yes.
for the whole week. And
Yes.
even in the online virtual delivery of the program, that by the time people watch this will probably be out. We're about to launch. I don't think I've told you about that, but it's about to come up, and that's a big part of it. Is biting it into chunks and piece by piece by piece.
Yeah.
So tell me, how
Absolutely.
you came on retreat. You were taking the action to get your book done. What were the results of going through those frameworks and following the process? What happened for you?
I think it's safe to say I knew more about the topic as I went through all the processes. It gave me so much clarity that what I thought I knew about leadership with a servant's heart, at the end of the retreat, I knew for sure that I know more than that.
Right.
Like I was able to sort of call it insightful thinking or just tapping into your inner leader. It just helped me come up with more content, I think, that could be valuable for someone reading it. And the it's very interesting. I don't think I've said to you before that my book was about leadership with a servant's heart. during the retreat, what I saw around me was exactly that. It was leadership with a servant's heart. It came from you, Ben, and Matt, because you were actually taking care of us so well that it helped us go deep, step up, and write a book in 7 days. So that was an example which I was living in my own, while I was at the retreat. And that just helped me, okay, what can I learn from this experience that I just had?
Wow.
Day in, day out, session by session. And that gave me ideas. Okay, yeah, this is what I've learned. How about this learning going into the book? And then, when you start thinking around those lines, your mind automatically starts putting out, generating chunks of information that it had previously. So I was able to recollect stories that I thought, yeah, that's good. I didn't think of the story before. Now I think I can, and that can go in the book. It'll be a really good story to tell. So you automatically gear into thinking more about the subject that you're trying to write about. And that was the most helpful part about the retreat.
Wow. Because I remember, it's interesting you say that, because I remember us having a conversation just before the retreat, and I was asking you why would you, why do you want to do this? What's driving you? And I remember I said to you, I remember hearing Daniel Priestley from the Key Person of Influence organization. He's written many books, and he said that he would write a book merely to clarify his thoughts on a topic.
Yes.
And you really resonated with that. And it sounds like what's happened for you is that a whole heap of new ideas and insights and wisdom has now dropped in for you.
It has. And that augurs well, because leading up to the book launch and even now, those ideas serve me very well, because I can share them with people. So people may read about those ideas and thoughts in the book. For those who haven't read the book yet, I can narrate those stories. I can share with them those insights, and they say, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. That makes a world of difference for me." And that's a wonderful thing.
So
because that's what you want to create.
Totally. So now you've got this bank of stories that are just ready to go. Tell me, how has that transformed the process of sales, of like connecting with potential clients and having them? Because you said before it was a bit like you'd reach out and then the response would be a bit slow or that kind of thing. How has that transformed for you now with the book?
Let me answer this through a story.
Great.
Okay. So I approached the State Library of Victoria. So I actually had called them even before the book had launched, saying that, hey, my book is coming up for launch. It's called A Servant's Heart, Leadership That Inspires. And I'm just wondering what's the process for you to procure a book, and if I can, if you guys would be open to taking that book in. He said, look, it all depends how the launch goes. You'll have to obviously wait for the launch, and which made sense. They said, we'll take it and we'll consider it. If you get selected, we'll let you know. I said, okay, that's fine, makes sense. The launch happened. It got to Amazon #1, and they did tell me that you need to still go in and drop the book off at the reception, and they will collect it and give it to us. And that's how the process goes on. So I said, okay, fine, we'll do that. So I had got the physical copy in my hand when I approached them, which had the words big and bold, #1 Amazon bestseller, and obviously the message and the title of the book. And I went and handed that book over to the reception. A gentleman who took the book, he looked at the book and said, Amazon #1 bestseller. Wow, third time. I said, we would love to have this book on us. He said, I'll connect you to the the collection librarian. I think he would love to have a read of it. This is an Amazon bestseller, so it'll be great to have this on board. Here's his details. You can directly speak to him.
Wow. Direct connection,
And
like red
direct
carpet
connection.
rolled out for you.
Yeah.
Go this way,
Come and
speak
talk
to
to me.
this man.
Yeah. Coincidentally, I had reached out to the same person 2 days back, or a few days back. They said, we'll have to wait and watch,
Wow.
We may or may not take this on board because there's a process that we follow. And after 2 days of handing over the book to the reception
it had launched
staff,
to #1.
after it had launched #1, after I had handed it over to that reception staff, 2 days later, that person calls me and says,
You're in.
"We, you're in. We love the book,
Wow.
and it's on our catalog now."
Wow. That's
Sweet.
phenomenal.
Thank you. It's an honor to be there, and thank you for taking the book in.
Yeah, wow. So the book for you's really been a door opener and kind
It
of
has.
and a sweetening, making that pathway super easy.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Because another example that I can share with you. One of the things which I on and off tried to do before the book was cold calling, and I know a lot of people might resonate with that. That cold calling, they say, "Nah, it's not for me because I don't know how I'm going to come across." Now, with the book in hand, it just makes it so different. Where I can say, "Hey, my name is Arpan. I'm the author of a best-selling Amazon book, A Servant's Heart. Just wondering if you have some time to talk with me." The response I would have got before the book and what I get now is totally different.
What was it before and what is it now?
Before, it was like, "Yes," and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, fantastic, congratulations." And that makes a world of difference where people acknowledge what's happened here versus people are trying to understand, okay, why is this guy trying to talk to me? What has he got to offer? Here, straight away, they know, okay, this is an author of an Amazon best-selling book. So this guy obviously knows his stuff. He means business.
Yes.
Let me talk to him.
Wow. So it's just got you in the door, and you were telling me before the show that you've just had. It sounds like as a result of like getting those, getting access to those people and them talking to you,
Yeah.
you've just had your best month in business ever.
I did. So I'm pleased to share with you that I've had our first and hopefully the first of many to come, our 50K month,
Excellent. Wow.
which was through reaching out to people, which was to talk to people about what this means, what this message is, and that's how I look at it. This is a message which should reach more and more people because that's what the world needs right now. In the realm of leadership, that's what it needs.
Awesome.
And it's absolutely a great feeling knowing that people are warming up to that message. They are acknowledging that yes, this is something which we would love to talk about, and the book helps in a big way.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Arpan, I just want to know one more thing in terms of the results. Like you were telling me, I remember we were speaking the other day, and you've had great business results from the book. It went to #1. It's in the state library. You've just had your best month. What's that done for you? And I know your wife Manasi and your lovely daughter. What's that done for you and your family, having gone from, being effectively homeless because your house burnt down to where you are now?
I think first of all a great sense of contentment that things are we're in such a good place here, because I mean the situation we were in about almost 12 or 10 months ago was we don't know what's going to happen, because we're kind of waiting to get back into our house, and I wasn't working. It's a choice I made that, look, let's get back in the house and I'll start my work again. So it was effectively having no income, uncertain of what the future holds, because those challenges about expanding our business, those were still there. So it just was double the concern that, okay, where are we headed, Whereas now, knowing that there's so much of opportunities available, I think those opportunities would have been there previously too. It's just having the right tools, the right mindset to approach those resources and leverage them in the best way possible.
It sounds
I
like
think the
those
book,
results are accessible to you now. Like they're right at
they are
your
accessible.
fingertips, and the growth that you wanted back
Yeah.
then is now, you've now got a vehicle and a pathway for that.
And there's a lot more belief that has come up for us.
Yeah, tell me about
For
that.
It's the small things, like to be able to reach out and network with people, because how I approach that is to serve others, to find out what their needs are, where they are placed. Is there any synergy where I can come and collaborate with them? That's how that's how it's transitioned into. And and that's partly due to the clarity that the book has given me, because I know the book talks about, if I can share,
Please.
there's a section which talks about how can you sell with a servant's heart, you know, and that's first and foremost about recognizing what the other person requires, what they need, you know, and then understanding that, and then prescribing what you need to, or saying, look, there is a synergy or there is not, but be honest about that. And that's something which I started to live once I sort of was able to pen that clearly. And that brought about a noticeable shift because the rapport just went up. There was more connection, there was more empathy from my part to understand, okay, this is where you're at. The conversations were more flowing. The grace and ease component came in.
Yes, the grace and ease.
It was grace and ease personified, and I think that and having the book also helped, because
Yeah.
then that was the conversation starter. But then the conversation that eventually transpired was warm, friendly, full of trust, understanding each other. And I think you can operate so much better when you're in that sort of a space
Yeah.
than when you're thinking in one corner of your mind, okay, what am I doing here? What is the other person going to sell me here? Surely there must be a catch. Versus, oh, this is really good. I'm enjoying this conversation. I'm enjoying what the other person is, he is listening to me. That's the sort of sense I'm getting now.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Arpan, just to round out our conversation today, if there's someone out there that is maybe thinking about writing their book, what would you say to them? You know, especially maybe the people that are in a bit of a spot, like maybe their house is burnt down, or maybe not. But
I hope no one
not.
goes through that situation.
I
Yeah.
hope not. Yeah. What would you say to people who are thinking about writing a book and maybe just contemplating which way to go? What would you say to them?
Right. The first thing I would encourage people to think about is, why do they want to write the book? Be clear on the purpose. Be clear on the why. What does that book mean to them? What does that book mean to someone who picks up the book and wants to read it? What would they get? Start thinking on those lines. And then the other things get taken care of in terms of what the book can do for you, right? There is a message in every book, right? What is that message? How will it serve the audience that you want to market the book to? That's super important, because once you're clear on that, the structure, the content, everything starts flowing. Because then you can put together everything thinking on, okay, this is what can serve them the best. And then what you put together becomes an impeccable project. It becomes really good. Flows very well.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Great advice.
And if I may add,
Please.
once you get clear on that, study your subject matter thoroughly. Do a lot of research. I think the key point we should all remember is we're all learning constantly. It's having an open mind, recognizing what ideas come your way, what concepts come your way, and just receive it with gratitude that, yes, this is something which I've learned about this that can potentially be used in the book. So it's just having an open mind to constantly learning about what you're trying to write about. Then that'll take care of the so-called writer's block, I think.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, folks, Arpan, I know you've got your next book bubbling away in your mind. We were chatting about that the other day. That's super exciting.
Yes, it is indeed.
We might just let that continue to bubble away, because I know that you've got a whole plan for that. So people, look out. Arpan will be back for his next one, but
Absolutely.
my man, thank you so much for sharing all your insights of the journey. I just think it's extraordinary and an absolute credit to you to be able to go from where you were with your, in a bit of a spot, with your house in all sorts of situations, to writing an outstanding book and now having the business success that you deserve, my man. Congratulations. It's been
Thank you.
good. So awesome.
Thank you, Dave. And before I go, I might add one more thing that helped me during the retreat.
Yes.
Is your amazing ginger shots.
Yes. How could we forget the zinger shots?
We can't forget that. The zinger shots, they were helpful.
Yeah. So folks, just so you know, when Arpan came on retreat, he had a bit of a head cold, wasn't feeling too good, and we were juicing, as we do, pure ginger. Just straight ginger. Sometimes with a little bit of carrot juice. We were
Yeah.
juicing it, and he was taking them like 3 or 4 times a day. And I think by the end of the week, you were pretty much better.
I was absolutely good. Like the ginger shots did me a world of good, and I think it fueled my desire for success even more.
That's fantastic. All right, my man. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. It's been awesome. Folks,
Thank you,
if
Dave.
you want
It's
to
a
check
pleasure.
out Arpan's book, this is what it looks like, A Servant's Heart, Leadership That Inspires. You can find it on Amazon. And if you want to chat with me about your book and maybe do something like what Arpan's done, then jump on our website, www.inspirationalbookwritersretreat.com.au, and there'll be a button there where you can chat with me. Just book a little time and we can see if and how we can help you get your inspirational book out. Arpan Roy, thank you, my man. And
Thank you, Dave. It's a pleasure.
We will chat again very soon.
Absolutely, we will. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.